Legion Tactical Cutlery.
Hold the line!
Hey everyone, how you guys doing? Grugs here, Legion Tactical Cutlery. Welcome back once again, troops, legionnaires, and any new recruits. Okay, before we get started, this is a channel that tests out knives. I just want to make sure that you all understand this. Now, today we're going to be looking at the Eafengrow EF158 in AUS-10 Steel. I'm looking at this knife as more of a camp knife. So let's get to testing. What is everybody's EDC? Well, today I've got my R-Black Tonton 154 CM steel. Check out the video for this. It's a pretty decent blade. What are you all carrying today? Veterans, active military, as always, I just want to say thank you very much for your service. Enjoy the video. Quick specs, let's go over it. Once again, this is the Eafengrow EF158. With an overall length of 13.9 inch, blade length 8.2 inch, blade steel AUS-10, blade hardness 59 to 61, HRC, blade thickness 6 millimeters, blade width 2.3 inch, handle material is a black G10, handle length 5.7 inch, handle thickness 0.79 inch, knife weight 18 ounces, and with the sheath it's 23 ounces, and it features full Tang lanyard hold, Kydex sheath, and a TekLoc. Troops, this is a pretty impressive blade once you get a chance to hold it and actually take a look at it, you know, up close. So for those who decided to buy it, I don't think you're going to be disappointed. However, for those who are still skeptical, we are going to put this to the test. It's an awesome flat grind right there, full Tang goodness, a little ramp with some jimping, a generous sharpening choil that will act as a finger choil. I love the belly over here. I love the leaf type design of this blade. Handle feels good. Now remember, I do have a Legion premiere of this knife with more details. Go check it out. But as you can see, the scales are removable. You know, part of my testing, we'll see if the scales do come loose out of the box. I did add this lanyard. It does have a lanyard hole. All right, you could see the scales here is a red G10 liner with the black scales. It looks blocky. It's not. It's all rounded off, and it does make for a comfortable fit in the hand. But as always, we have to test, you know, once we're chopping. It does come with a really nice sheath, as always. Eafengrow is always producing very good Kydex sheath. This one has a ramp, a TekLoc for upright or scout carry. Let's just pop the knife in. Now I got real lucky with this one. Nice and quiet, no rattle, no up and down play. All right, that looks good now. And also, just to make sure the retention is good here too. All right, so now that we've got that out of the way, remember, I do have a Legion premiere. If you need more detail, go check that out. We're just gonna test out this log right here. Just a simple log, you know, for camp tasks. And somebody requested some food, so I got an onion and some celery that we'll cut up towards the end, and some other you know, camp items as always. So let's get started. As always, if you know my channel, we're going to start off with some chopping. We're going to test to see how the edge holds up. Does it bend? Does it roll? Does it chip? I have a decent size log, okay? Pretty realistic in my opinion. Something that you might find in the woods at a campsite, and you need to process this down a little bit further because it's your knife, it's your money, and if that's what you want to do, then you do it. So let's get to chopping, okay? As always, I'm always going to try and use every part of the blade. However, with the natural swing and momentum, all right, it tends to hit a certain sweet spot. But again, I will try to use every part of the blade as best as I can. Now, I've used this log before in other tests. I am limited in my resources as far as actual, you know, logs from trees, etc. So I do have to save a lot of these logs. However, I did find a spot where I've got basically a year's supply of these, but I have to go back and forth. It's about a good 20-30 minute ride from here. So for the time being, I'm just doing my best to use what I have here, okay? It's a pretty solid piece of wood, nice and hard. I don't know, this Florida wood is just insane hard. I don't know what it is, but it's good for testing. All right. And you can see it's just cutting right through. Okay. All right. So while I have this opportunity, the handle, while I'm swinging, feels really good. I thought this was a bit of a problem, this extra protruding nub right here, but so far so good with the chop. And as you can see, the discoloration, as I swing, it's just hitting this particular area. That's fine by me. It's working out. Let's keep going. Now I'm not saying that you can't bring an axe or a saw with you. You might have brought those tools along with this knife, but maybe somebody else is using it, so now you need to use your knife, right? For whatever reason. And being that this is in my opinion, more of a camp knife, I think this would be perfect for all kinds of use around the camp. The flat grind just, digs in big time. Let's just take a quick look. That's looking good. So far, straight as an arrow. Ooh, digging in. I am using the lanyard just for safety, but let's keep going here. So it's raining here in Florida, but since I'm in my garage, it's perfect. I could still do testing while I'm in the garage. That's great, It is biting in. I have to hit the end of this, handle to get it a little bit loose. So that's biting in. That looks good. All right, well, let's just keep on going here. All right, we're getting chunks big time. Now I'm just, as always, I'm learning, just let the blade do the work. No need to slam it, unless you're really in a hurry for an emergency situation. But, it's doing a good job, man. Nice. This is nice. Come on now. There we go. All right, we're almost there. We are almost there. Let me just Get rid of this little nub over here because that's causing me some headache. Thank you, God. Got that out of the way. Let's continue. Nice, man. Nice job. Let's take a look. I know somebody wanted me to do, edge up close. I don't know, how's that look for you guys? Is that okay? I think we're looking good. I'm doing people's requests now. Somebody wants me to do close-ups of the edge, and then if somebody else wants me to cut vegetables. So, all right, no worries. Let me clean up, and we'll do some other testing. Knife did a great job. Let's do some vertical batoning here. Okay, did a good job. Let's process down even further. Start with making some thirds. And it went right through that knot. Looking good. Let's keep going. Maybe you do take a hike and you want something bigger. I've done it. And that's another knot. And this might be all you need on the hike, and you want to make yourself a cup of coffee. You don't need to, use a huge log to do this type of work. You find something small, right? And now you have yourself some wood for a small fire. To make a cup of coffee, you need to get something started quick. Okay. So you could see right here, let's do one more. See right here that it's doing pretty good. And I just almost went through that knot, but so far so good, man. We are looking good. I think this is a good, test for the vertical batoning. I'm going to save this for the end, or maybe doing some stabbing later, okay? And a divot. We'll continue with some horizontal batoning now, okay? We're set up for some horizontal batoning now. I'm going to utilize the whole blade. Just make some quarters here. Okay, we got a split, which is good. Sorry about that, troops, but you could see that it did a good job. Let's do it again. Once again, the whole purpose of this, I am using the whole blade. Still looks straight. Perfect. All right, a different way to make some kindling. Okay. Actually, you know what? That served its purpose, man. I'm happy with that. No sense in going any longer than I should, right? Because my videos are long enough. Let's do a quick test. You can see the discoloration over here of the blade. And I am making nice fine curls here. So the blade is still doing pretty good, still sharp. All right. I'm going to process a couple more of these sticks down further. We'll go into making the curls, etc. Okay? Give me a second. Okay, I just made a few right here, but you know, this blade is still pretty sharp, so okay. You don't really need a baton if they're thin enough, right? If you want to make just some small pieces, using the sharpness and the wedge of the blade to do what I need to do, or you could use, you know, well, let me do it this way. You could use the tip. I'm going to do it right here in the center. All right. There you go. Tip is good. Let me just do this. Nothing's come off. We'll do a divot test in a second or two. What I want to do, which I could make this a little bit thinner, right, for a feather stick. Nice. All right, perfect. So here's some kindling. For those who are against batoning, use your hand. All right, and once again, and I know that it'll do it, right? So you can see it's making the individual curls real nice. Okay, just small demonstration. And now, let's see if I can make a feather stick for everybody. It's a big blade, so I do recommend that you take something a little bit finer with you, like a pocket knife or a little pocket fixie. While it seems to be capable to do some of these smaller tasks, you're probably better off with, you know, like another small blade of your choosing. However, if this is all you've got and you enjoy doing this kind of work out in the field to hone your skills, etc. Okay, that's pretty good. I mean, I can keep on going, but no sense in you know, trying to beat a dead horse. It's good to go here, man. All right, troops. So as you saw, I did stab this into the trunk here. And so far, so good. All right, now let's make a divot, which I think is a very fair test, because if you're out in the field, then you need to, you know, make a divot of some sort, even a hole. In my opinion, a knife should be able to do this without you worrying about the tip snapping. However, as other people have stated, if the tip snaps, doesn't mean that the knife is dead. You've got the rest of the knife to use, obviously. You just won't be able to do, you know, some finer work that requires the tip. Using that tip to pivot to go around and cut the hole a little bit bigger. By the way, this handle feels really good. You know, I did have some concerns about the handle yesterday, you know, with this little nub sticking out, but today, I mean, it feels good while I'm using it. So just be aware. Okay, so there you go. That looks good. The tip didn't fall off, right, like some other companies. So that's good news. I mean, it is a little thin, not was, but it is a little thin, and I was concerned, but I think we're good to go, man. I did split that wood. You know what, the hell with it. I have this for the end of the video. Let's just split this piece, okay? Let me get my lanyard around my hand. Ooh, that's a hard one. Okay. Ugh. Let's keep going. This is a good test. Oh yeah, done. All right, so it came through. Tip is still there. Awesome. All right, that's cool. Camp tasks. Something a little bit different. Since this is a camp knife, we're going to do some food prep, I guess, with this knife. And I do have a spool of lanyard here, but you know, some people want to see some food prepping, so let's do it. Just cutting up the onions. All right, so I hope that you guys can see it's cutting pretty thin. All right, look at that. Okay, nice and thin. You could be a chef out there, all right, in your campsite. So that worked well. That's an onion. And I've got a carrot here, right? And okay. So you could do a lot of food prep with this. I love that belly right there. Real nice. I think this is perfect for this scenario, right? And I'm trying to make some real thin slices just to show you how sharp this still is. Okay, that's pretty thin. So I think I made my point with the carrots, and then, I don't know, this is celery, right? Push cuts here. Now mind you, I'm not a chef. You don't need to be a real chef out there in the field. Just have a good time and cook, you know, your food. You want to make a stew. So while you got the axe and you're doing the manly thing out there with the axe and chopping up firewood, you know, the old lady or whoever you have designated for cooking tasks, you know, they're cooking, and then you're making a drink and you need, you know, something a little extra for your cocktail, right? Okay, nice and thin. And then if you need the quarter or wedge or what have you, your camp knife is capable. And then you're putting up your tent. All right, and you have some paracord right here. All right, you're good to go. Okay, so I'm digging this, man. So the food prep stuff did real well. Just to have a little fun, there's some of this real thick synthetic rope over here that I found here while they're doing some construction. I picked it up, washed it off. They threw it out, so you know, for me, it's a resource. Now, let's chop this bad boy. Okay, right in half. That edge still looks good. We're looking good. One more thing that I would like to show everybody is, unfortunately, spine is all rounded off. Now, I thought that the choil would work, sparking up this ferro rod. However, after doing a little bit of testing, nothing, okay? So, and then the spine, nothing at all. So if you have the courage and you have a belt sander, you know, you could use your belt sander and make this a little bit sharper if you so desire that you want to spark a ferro rod out in the field. As you could see, it mars up the blade, all right, because it's rounded off. You know, again, it's a tool and I'm testing this out, but you know, nobody says that you can't sharpen this. So there you go, troops, just small demonstration with this knife. I think it's awesome camp blade. I am very grateful to the Eafengrow reps for sending this to me, and we're good to go here, man. There you have it, troops, the Eafengrow EF158 in AUS-10 Steel, an awesome camp blade. All right, man, you saw what this blade can do. Again, just a small demonstration. I didn't want to go too long on this video. I didn't want to put the food out either because this fly is already flying around all over the place here. But you saw what this knife can do. Still pretty sharp after this, this abuse. Listen, this is a pretty realistic test over here. You know, you find yourself a log or two out in the field and you process them down the way I just did over here. Let me get this over here a little bit more. There you go. I'm real happy with this knife. I love the way the knife looks. I love the way the knife feels. That handle did come a little loose. I needed to tighten up this one over here. So be sure, if you do decide to buy this knife, that you use some Loctite, okay, and tighten up those screws before you go out into the field, okay? Another thing I want to let everybody know, it's AUS-10. It's easy to sharpen. Bring a sharpener out in the field. You know, everybody's got to learn how to sharpen. Okay, knives go dull. I don't care what super steel you got. Knives go dull. You have to learn how to sharpen your knives. Troops, Legionnaires, new recruits, as always, thank you very much. Let me know what you think about this blade. By the way, 30% off right now on Amazon. So those who are interested in this knife, okay, it's $69.99, 30% off right now, off that price. And if you have Prime, you get free shipping. Probably get it in 2 days. Not a bad deal. Let me bring awareness, everybody. Hashtag 22 a day, hashtag 22 a day no more. There are veterans in active military. Once they get out of the service, they do face a lot of challenges. And unfortunately, one of these challenges is suicide. So at the end of this video, okay, pause on the slides at the end. Read that heartfelt message from Martin Miller, one of your own. Call those phone numbers and surf those websites. Seek the help you all have earned and deserve. Troops, Legionnaires, new recruits, it's time for a cocktail. At the ready, troops, hold the line. Take care.
Legionnaires!